most rage-inducing, but I so yeah. So without further ado, I'd like to begin. And there are some games on here that I've never played. Actually, there's one game on here that I've never played, but I had to include it on this list because if I didn't, people are here to be like, super mad about it. And yeah, so starting off my list, I'm gonna go with Contra. Contra is one of the hardest games I've ever played, and I can get through to the waterfall stage if I do the Konami code, but without it, no. No. And it's better if you do two players, but if you're like me and you only play it one player, yeah, it makes it even more difficult. But the game is fun until you get to the waterfall stage and you just keep on falling off, falling down, and or falling into the water and losing your spread gun. Doesn't matter how many times I've played that game. If I get a spread gun, I lose it immediately on the waterfall stage because I either get killed as soon as I get it or I fall off into the water. That is so unfair. I've made it to the boss on that stage, but have never beaten him. Uh, I did, uh, I did like the spinning wheel thing, the spinning hand wrecking ball thing. I did destroy one of those, but I could not destroy the other ones. I don't know why, but there's just something about that game. And me and platformers, I love platformers. I'm just not great at them. So yeah, my second pick is Super Contra, also known as Super C. I don't know if I've talked about this game before, but I am going to talk about it. I can go on and on about how hard this game is and why it's hard, and this is what I'm about to do. So Super C is really hard because unlike Contra where you have the Konami code up, down, left, right, BA start, you get that code. That code uh is the code that you use to get to 30 lives. But with Super Contra, let me pull it up really quick on my phone. Uh, with Super Contra, you don't use the same code. You use a different code. You use right, left, down, up, A, B, then start. And you would think, oh, okay, you use that code to get 30 lives. No, you only get 10 lives, and like the level, like the first stage, I can never get past the first stage with those 10 lives because I die. Because with Contra, it was mostly linear. There were a few times where you did drop down and you went into the water, but with Super C, it was linear until there was like a dip. Then you're in this like trench area, and you're trying to get out of the trench while you're still being shot at, and then you can't get out of the trench because you're still being shot at, and you try shooting at them, and then they don't die, you die. I refuse to play that game. I refuse to play that game ever again because it is that difficult. And apparently, I think on the NES Classic that you can play that game and use the Konami code and on it, and I'm like, cool, that's great, cool for you, great to anyone that plays it, but I will never play it again just because of how difficult it was. Next one, this is the one that I've never played because I didn't have an NES growing up. My grandparents, I think, did, and then they got rid of it because I think it broke or something. But I never had one. Never. I played an NES Classic one time, but this game I've never played. But I have played Contra and Super C on the computer, but not this game. And I'm talking about Battletoads. Battletoads is probably the hardest game ever created, and I included it on my list because even though I've never played it, I knew that I had to include it because so many people have talked about how mind-numbingly difficult it is. Like, especially if you're doing co-op, because like with Contra, you're doing co-op with Contra. You can shoot. You your your teammate can't die. They can't die if you're shooting. Like you can shoot them all you want and they won't die. And Battletoads, if you hit your teammates, they die, and then you gotta start all over again. If they lose all their lives, you gotta start all over again because you can't continue even if you lost your even if you still have all your lives, you still can't continue. And then you get to that like speed running thing where like you go up the ramps and you can't hit the walls. People have said how difficult that is, and if you get past that, it gets even harder as time goes on. And uh every single like clip I've seen of the game or clips that I've seen of the game from like watchmojo.com or like Smosh Games or any of these YouTube channels, they don't show much of the game because no one's really ever completed it. And if you have completed it, bow down to you. I praise you. You're a gaming god in my book or goddess, but I have never played it. I don't think I'll ever play it because I will have so much rage and I want to break the controller, break everything while playing it. And I heard that like true gamers are the ones that have broken like their NES controller or their Super NES controllers playing Battletoads. So I guess I'm not a true gamer. I don't know, but I just don't. I just haven't played it. I don't ever want to play it because of how difficult it is. I might play it one day. We'll see. My next game on this list is a game that's not people wouldn't necessarily consider it difficult, but it was on the Super NES. I remember playing it on the Super Nintendo, and it was Caesar's Palace. This was a casino game you played in Caesar. You played at this. You were inside the Caesar's Palace casino, and it was a fun game. But the reason why it was so difficult is because you lost your money so much, so fast and so quickly. I remember watching some YouTube channel. I don't remember what it was, but some YouTuber was playing it, and they lost their money. They couldn't even beat it, and I'm like, that's crazy. I mean, like there was a section of it where you can go into the high roller portion of the game, but I never made it to the high rollers because I lost my money. I would lose my money on video poker and slot machines, and even on horse racing and Keno. Like I lost my money. I'm like, come on. The fact that I could not beat this game made me so mad. I love this game. I love the game, but trying to beat this game was near impossible. Nearly impossible. And like I played like Vegas 6 on the Super Nintendo, and I I did not could not beat that game either, but I figured out how to do it. And then my sister got the Super NES and the N64 and the GameCube from my grandparents a few years ago, and so I wasn't able to try to beat it. But then I found it online, and I got to the Laurel Palace, which I was happy about, and that was good enough for me because I figured out how to do it. But there's no way to beat Caesar's Palace. There's no way to beat it. Like if you lose all your money, they kick you out of the casino because you have no money. What's up with that? I mean, it I that game is just so difficult, and I don't know why they would do that. And yeah, but I love the game. It's just so difficult. I ate up all my money in Caesar's Palace, but still had so much fun. Uh, my last and final one. This one people may or may not know about, but I did not know about it until I got the Namco Megamix arcade like game. Not that it was a thing that Namco did with like the Wii and I think Xbox 360 and like PlayStation. That those consoles where you got to play the Namco arcades, like classic arcades, and they had this one, and I've yet to beat level. I think it's level 9 or level 10. I've yet to beat it. It's called Moto S. This game, this game is so difficult. I hate it. Like you get to level 10, 9 or 10, and like you have these two like circular things spinning around, and like you Gotta get in between them and knock him out. I've knocked one of them off, but I can't knock both of them off. And then uh, there's like a time limit. Well, not really a time limit, but if you're still on this level within a certain amount of time, then the tiles start like breaking. Like they break the tiles and stuff on there, and so you fall through the level if you're not careful, and then you have all these these balls coming at you that are like coming at you and trying to knock you off. And I get so frustrated playing that game that like sometimes I just quit. I just rage quit. And that is probably one of the hardest games next to Super C that I've ever played. And I love the game. It's just that it's so difficult. I cannot get past that level. I went on YouTube to see how to get past it, and I tried doing what the person did on YouTube. Could not get past it. I don't know why, but that game is just so difficult. But it's fun, but it's difficult, and it's one of the games that like I played. I was playing it one time, and my mom saw me play it, and she's like, "Oh, I remember playing that game," and I was like, "What? You played that game?" And I was surprised, but I love the game, but it's just so difficult. Moto F. If you ever get a chance to play it, please try it and try all these games and see which one you think is the hardest. Because my opinion, Super C is the hardest game I've ever played. It's the one that I will never play ever again. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell because next week I'm going to talk about either educational games or uh like classic uh games. I don't know which one, like platformer, classic games, whatever you want to call it. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Bye!